I need you to wake up now. The voice sounded far away, like someone calling from the end of a long tunnel. My head felt heavy. Everything hurt. Fiorella, please, open your eyes. I forced my eyelids open. The light stung. I blinked once, twice, trying to focus. White ceiling. Expensive chandelier. Where was I? Thank God. I turned my head toward the voice. A man sat beside the bed, his dark hair messy, his eyes red like he'd been crying. He was gorgeous, probably in his early 30s, wearing a black suit that must have cost a fortune. Wait, back home? Where was home? I tried to sit up. Pain shot through my ribs. I gasped. Don't move too fast, the man said, reaching for my hand. You've been in a coma for 6 months. The doctors said your body needs time. 6 months? I stared at him. Who are you? His face went pale. What? I don't know you, I said slowly. My voice sounded scratchy, like I hadn't used it in forever. Where am I? What happened? The man stood up, backing away from the bed. His hands shook. You don't remember me? Should I? He pressed his palm against his forehead, breathing hard. I'm Zeno Marcello, your husband. I almost laughed, except he wasn't joking. He looked serious, terrified actually. My what? We've been married for 2 years, Zeno said, his voice cracking. You had a car accident 6 months ago. Hit a tree going 60 miles an hour. The doctors said you might not wake up. But I waited. Every single day, I sat here and waited. I looked down at my left hand. Sure enough, there was a diamond ring. Huge, sparkly, completely unfamiliar. I don't remember any of this, I whispered. Zeno's eyes filled with tears. He wiped them away quickly. The doctors warned me this might happen. They said the trauma could cause memory loss. But they also said it might come back. With time. A nurse walked in, smiling. Oh, wonderful, you're awake. Let me check your vitals. She looked at Zeno. Mr. Marcello, maybe you should give her some space. This is a lot to process. Zeno nodded. I'll be right outside if you need me. He paused at the door. I'm so glad you're okay, Fiorella. I thought I'd lost you. After he left, the nurse took my temperature and blood pressure. You're one lucky lady, she said. Your husband never left your side. Not once in 6 months. That's true love right there. Welcome to Honeybee Mafia Tales. If you're enjoying this wild story, hit that subscribe button and grab a popcorn because things are about to get crazy. They released me from the hospital 3 days later. Zeno drove me to what he called our home. A massive estate outside Boston with iron gates and security guards everywhere. The house looked like something from a movie. Marble floors, paintings worth more than I could guess. Furniture that seemed too fancy to actually sit on. Does all this look familiar? Zeno asked hopefully. I shook my head. It's beautiful, but no. I don't recognize any of it. He tried to hide his disappointment. That's okay. We'll take it slow. Whatever you need. Over the next week, Zeno showed me photo albums. Pictures of us at restaurants, on beaches, at parties. In every photo, I was smiling. We looked happy. Really happy. But staring at these pictures felt like looking at someone else's life. Tell me how we met, I said one evening. We were sitting in the living room. Zeno had made me hot chocolate, which he said was my favorite. At a charity gala in New York, he said, smiling at the memory. You were there with your father. You wore a red dress. I couldn't take my eyes off you. I walked up and introduced myself. You told me my tie was ugly. I laughed. I said that. You did. Then you proceeded to explain why silk paisley was a crime against fashion. I was completely charmed. We talked all night. I asked for your number. You said no. Why? You said any man worth dating would find a way to contact you without needing your number. So I hired a private investigator to track you down. My eyes widened. That's kind of creepy. Zeno winced. Yeah, you said that too when I showed up at your coffee shop the next week. But then I bought you breakfast every morning for a month until you finally agreed to go on a date with me. It sounded romantic, like a fairy tale. So why did something in my gut feel wrong? That night I couldn't sleep. I wandered through the house, trying to jog my memory. Nothing looked familiar. I ended up in what Zeno said was my personal office. There were books on the shelves, a laptop on the desk, papers scattered around. I opened the laptop. It was password protected. I tried a few obvious combinations: my birthday, according to Zeno, our anniversary, my name backwards. Nothing worked. Then I noticed a drawer in the desk. Locked. I searched for a key, found nothing, but there was a letter opener on the desk. After a few minutes of fumbling, the lock clicked open. Inside was a journal. My handwriting. I recognized it somehow, even though I didn't remember writing it. My hands trembled as I opened to the last entry. The date was 1 week before my accident. I've made a terrible mistake. I'm not in love with Zeno. I never was. I married him to save someone. And now I'm trapped. If I try to leave, people will die. I need to find a way out before it's too late. If I'm reading this and don't remember, trust no one. Not even him. I dropped the journal like it had burned me. The next morning, Zeno found me in the kitchen. I'd been sitting there for hours, the journal hidden in my bedroom. "Did you sleep?" he asked, concerned. "Not really." I studied his face. He looked genuinely worried. Either he was the world's best liar, or he actually cared about me. "Zeno, why did I marry you?" He blinked. "Because we were in love." "But why? What made me fall for you?" He sat down across from me. "I don't know how to explain it. Chemistry? Fate? You used to say I made you feel safe. That when you were with me, the rest of the world disappeared. And what about you? Why did you love me?" "Because you saw me," he said quietly. "Not my money or my family name or my reputation. Just me. You called me out when I was being stupid. You made me laugh. You challenged me. No one had ever done that before. It sounded perfect. Too perfect." "Can I see my father?" I asked. "Maybe talking to him will help me remember." Zeno's expression changed. Sadness flooded his face. "Fiorella, your father passed away 2 months before our wedding. Heart attack." The news hit me like a punch. I didn't remember my father, but learning he was dead made my chest ache anyway. "I'm sorry," Zeno said. "I thought you knew. The doctors said some memories might come back but not others." I spent the afternoon in my room, crying for a man I couldn't remember. Zeno checked on me once but left me alone when I asked for space. That evening, a woman showed up at the house. She was beautiful, probably around 30, with long black hair and cold eyes. She walked in like she owned the place. "So the princess finally woke up," she said, looking me up and down. "Cosima, get out," Zeno said sharply. "I just wanted to see if the rumors were true. Poor Fiorella lost her memory." "How convenient. What's that supposed to mean?" I asked. Cosima smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "It means you get to forget all the awful things you did, all the people you hurt. Must be nice having a clean slate." "Cosima, I'm warning you," Zeno started. "You stole him from me," Cosima interrupted, pointing at Zeno. "We were supposed to get married. Our families arranged it when we were teenagers. Then you showed up and ruined everything. Zeno broke our engagement for you. Do you know what that did to me? To my family?" I looked at Zeno. "Is that true?" He sighed. "Cosima and I were engaged, yes. It was arranged by our families. But I didn't love her. I couldn't marry someone I didn't love. When I met you, I knew I had to end things with Cosima. It wasn't fair to anyone involved. You humiliated me," Cosima spat, "in front of everyone, and she didn't even care. She just smiled and took what was mine." "I'm sorry," I said, even though I didn't remember any of it. "That must have been really hard." Cosima's eyes narrowed. "Don't patronize me. I hope you never remember, because the truth will destroy you." She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. "What did she mean by that?" I asked Zeno. "She's bitter. Don't listen to her." But I couldn't shake the feeling that Cosima knew something I didn't. The next day, I went back to the desk drawer. I searched more carefully this time. Hidden behind the journal was a small key. It didn't fit the drawer. So what was it for? I spent hours searching the house. Finally, I found a storage closet I'd overlooked before. Inside was a safe. The key fit perfectly. My heart pounded as I opened it. Inside were documents. Bank statements in my name showing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Passport, but not with my current name. It said Stella Morrison with my photo. And underneath everything, a plane ticket to Vancouver, dated for the day after my accident. I was planning to run away. But from what? From Zeno? I heard footsteps behind me. I spun around. Zeno stood in the doorway, staring at the open safe. "Where did you find that key?" he asked quietly. "In my desk." "What is all this, Zeno? Why do I have a fake passport?" He closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he looked exhausted. "I was hoping you'd never find that. Tell me the truth. Right now." Zeno walked into the closet and sat down on the floor, like his legs wouldn't hold him anymore. "Your father owed my family a debt. A big one. When he died, the debt transferred to you. That's how these things work in my world." "Your world?" "My family. We're not just in real estate, Fiorella. We're involved in things that aren't exactly legal. Your father knew that. He borrowed money from us for his business. When he died, he owed us $3 million. The number made my head spin. $3 million. I could have collected it violently. That's what my associates wanted. But then I met you at your father's funeral. You were crying, but you were also so strong, so determined to handle everything yourself. I fell in love with you that day. So I made you an offer. Marry me and the debt disappears. I felt sick. So our whole marriage was a business deal? At first, maybe, Zeno admitted. But it became real, Fiorella. I swear to you what we had was real. You didn't love me at first either. You were suspicious and angry. But over time, we fell for each other. We were happy. I know we were. Then why was I planning to run away? He looked at the plane ticket. I don't know. Maybe you got scared. Maybe someone threatened you. I've been trying to figure it out for 6 months. I didn't know what to believe anymore. The journal said not to trust him. But Zeno seemed so sincere. I need some air, I said, standing up. Fiorella, please. Just give me space, Zeno. I need to think. I walked outside into the gardens. The sun was setting, painting everything orange and pink. It should have been beautiful. Instead, it felt like I was trapped in a nightmare. Car pulled up to the gate. A man got out, well-dressed and confident. The guards let him through. He walked straight toward me. Fiorella Montgomery, he said, smiling. Or should I say Mrs. Marcello? I've been looking for you. Who are you? Lorenzo Vitali. We need to talk about your husband. And about why you're still alive when you should be dead. I don't know you, I said, taking a step back. Lorenzo held up his hands. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help. 6 months ago, you contacted me. You said you needed help getting away from Zeno. That you were in danger. My stomach dropped. I contacted you? You sent me an email from a secure account. Said you'd discovered something about Zeno. Something that proved he wasn't who he claimed to be. You were terrified. We were supposed to meet the day after your accident. But you never showed up. I've been trying to find you ever since. I glanced back at the house. Zeno was watching from the window. Why should I believe you? Lorenzo pulled out his phone and showed me an email chain. Sure enough, there was my name. Messages talking about meeting locations, safe houses, escape routes. You were planning to testify against him, Lorenzo said. You had evidence that could put Zeno away for years. Then you had your convenient accident. What are you saying? I'm saying that crash wasn't random. Someone ran you off the road. I have the police report. A witness saw a black SUV hit your car and drive away. Zeno owns 3 black SUVs. Fiorella. I felt dizzy. You think Zeno tried to kill me? I think someone did. And he's the most obvious suspect. Look, I have a car waiting. Come with me now. I can protect you. I don't even know you. But you trusted me 6 months ago. That has to mean something. Lorenzo's voice was urgent. Please. Before he realizes I'm here. I heard the front door open. Zeno walked toward us quickly, his face dark. Get away from my wife, Vitali. Your wife? Lorenzo laughed. Is that what you're calling your prisoner now? Leave my property before I have you removed. I'm not going anywhere until Fiorella tells me to go herself. Both men looked at me. I felt trapped between them, not knowing who to trust. If anyone. I need more time, I said finally. Both of you need to give me space to figure this out. Lorenzo handed me a business card. When you're ready to hear the truth, call me. Day or night. He walked back to his car, but not before shooting Zeno one last warning look. After Lorenzo left, Zeno turned to me. What did he tell you? That I was going to testify against you, that someone tried to kill me, that you might have done it. Zeno's jaw clenched. And you believe him? I don't know what to believe. I don't remember anything, Zeno. I have a journal that says not to trust you. I have a fake passport and a plane ticket. I have a man claiming I reached out to him for help. What am I supposed to think? That I love you, Zeno said, his voice breaking. That I would never hurt you. That everything I've done has been to protect you. From what? He hesitated too long. From what, Zeno? From my world. From the people in it who would use you to get to me. From yourself, sometimes, when you were too stubborn for your own good. He ran his hand through his hair. Yes, I followed you before we met. Yes, I offered marriage to clear your father's debt. But I also fell in love with you. Really, truly in love. And you fell in love with me too. Then why doesn't any of this feel right? Zeno looked at me with such sadness it almost broke my heart. Maybe because you're looking for reasons not to trust me instead of reasons to stay. That night, I locked myself in the bedroom. I pulled out the journal again, reading every entry. Most of it was normal stuff, what I ate for lunch, movies I watched, funny things Zeno said. But scattered throughout were darker entries. Mentions of the family business. References to meetings I wasn't allowed to attend. Concerns about phone calls Zeno took in the middle of the night. And then, 3 months before the accident, the tone shifted completely. I found something today. Something that changes everything. I can't write it down here in case someone finds this. But I need to be careful. Very careful. Zeno can never know I know. What did I find? What secret was so big it made me plan to run? The next morning, a woman knocked on the door. She was older, maybe 50, with kind eyes and a warm smile. Fiorella. Oh, sweetie. It's so good to see you awake. She pulled me into a hug before I could react. I'm Serafina. Your aunt. Your father's sister. My aunt. Zeno had never mentioned her. I've been out of the country for months. I just heard that you are awake. How are you feeling? Confused, mostly. I don't remember anything. Serafina's smile faded. Nothing at all? Not about the last 3 years. The doctors say it might come back, but they're not sure. She took my hands. Then maybe that's a blessing. Some things are better forgotten. What does that mean? Serafina glanced around, making sure we were alone. Can we talk somewhere private? I led her to the garden, far from the house. Serafina sat on a bench and patted the spot next to her. Your father and I weren't close, she said quietly. We had a falling out years ago over family business. But before he died, he called me. Said he'd made a terrible mistake. That he'd gotten you involved in something dangerous and he didn't know how to fix it. What kind of something? He wouldn't tell me details. Just said that if anything happened to him, I should look after you. Make sure you were safe. When I heard about your accident, I tried to visit you in the hospital. But Zeno's people wouldn't let me near you. Why not? Because Zeno knows I hate him. I know what kind of man he really is. What kind of family he comes from. Your father was terrified of the Marcellos. He only made deals with them because he was desperate. My chest felt tight. Do you know why I married Zeno? Serafina nodded slowly. Your father told me about the debt. About Zeno's offer. He begged you not to do it, but you said it was the only way. You sacrificed yourself to save your father's reputation. His business. Everything he'd built. But my father died anyway. Heart attack. 2 months after you married Zeno. Some people thought the stress of watching you marry that man is what killed him. I felt tears building. I don't remember him. I don't remember my own father. Maybe that's for the best too. He made so many mistakes, honey. He would have wanted you to move on. Be happy, but not like this. Not trapped in a marriage built on debt and lies. Zeno says we fell in love. That it became real. Serafina squeezed my hand. I'm sure he believes that. But men like Zeno don't know how to love. They only know how to own. And sweetheart, he owns you. After Serafina left, I felt more lost than ever. Everyone had a different story. Everyone claimed to know the truth. But who was actually telling it? I decided to do some investigating on my own. I waited until Zeno left for a business meeting, then snuck into his private office. I'd seen him go in there several times, always locking the door behind him. The lock was harder to pick than my desk drawer had been. Took me almost 20 minutes. When I finally got inside, I found file cabinets full of documents. Most of it was business stuff I didn't understand. Financial reports, property deeds, legal contracts. Then I found a folder with my name on it. Inside were photographs, dozens of them, pictures of me at college, at coffee shops, walking my dog, shopping for groceries, all taken from a distance, like someone had been following me. The dates on the photos went back 4 years. 2 years before Zeno claimed we met. He'd been watching me long before my father died. Long before the debt existed. My hands shook as I kept digging. Behind the photographs was a document, a marriage certificate, but not the one from 2 years ago. This one was dated 15 years ago, when I was 8 years old. It showed a marriage between Fiorella Montgomery and Zeno Marcello. Both our names, both our signatures. Mine was messy, childish handwriting. His was already confident and strong. What kind of sick game was this? I heard footsteps in the hallway. I shoved everything back into the folder and tried to close the cabinet quietly. But the door to the office opened before I could hide. Zeno stood in the doorway. His eyes went from me to the open file cabinet to the folder in my hands. I can explain, he said. You better start talking. Right now. He closed the door behind him and leaned against it. That marriage certificate is real. We were married when you were 8 years old. That's impossible. That's insane. It's tradition. In certain families, children are promised to each other young. It's supposed to build alliances, keep peace between organizations. Your father and my mother arranged it before she died. I stared at the document. This can't be legal. It's not legal in the normal sense. But in our world, it's binding. It's a contract. So when you said we got married 2 years ago, that was renewing our vows, making it official under regular law. You knew about the childhood marriage, Fiorella. I showed you the certificate before we renewed our vows. You said it was romantic, that we were meant to be together from the start. And the photographs? You following me for years. Zeno looked uncomfortable. I wanted to make sure you were safe. After my mother died, I promised her I'd take care of you. So I kept tabs on you from a distance. I know how it looks, but I swear I wasn't trying to be creepy. I was just watching over you. This is beyond creepy, Zeno. This is stalking. I know. You were angry when you first found out too. But you forgave me. You understood that in my world, protection sometimes looks different than in yours. I didn't know what to say. This was too much. All of it was too much. Why didn't you tell me this when I first woke up? I asked. Because I knew you wouldn't understand. Not without your memories. I was going to tell you eventually when you were stronger. When you trusted me again. How can I trust you when you keep lying to me? I haven't lied. I've just been careful about what truths to share and when. That's the same thing. Zeno pushed off from the door and walked toward me. I backed up until I hit the desk. He stopped a few feet away, giving me space. I love you, Fiorella. I have loved you since I was 15 years old and saw you at a family gathering. You were this tiny kid with pigtails and a missing front tooth, and you told my uncle his cigar smelled like burning garbage. You were fearless. Even then, despite everything, I almost smiled. That sounds like something I'd say. I told my mother that night I was going to marry you someday. She thought I was joking, but I was serious. I waited for you to grow up. I watched you become this amazing woman, smart and funny and so damn stubborn. When your father's debt gave me a reason to approach you, I jumped at it. Maybe that makes me selfish. Maybe that makes me a bad person. But I won't apologize for loving you. What about Lorenzo? I asked. Was he telling the truth? Was I going to testify against you? Zeno's expression hardened. Lorenzo Vitali is not your friend. He's my rival. He's been trying to take over my territory for years. If he approached you, it was only to use you against me. He showed me emails, messages from me asking for help. Anyone can fake emails. Did you verify the account? Check the metadata? I hadn't. But the police report. What police report? Did you actually see it? Or did he just tell you about it? I realized Lorenzo hadn't shown me anything except the emails. Everything else was just his word. I don't know what to believe anymore. Zeno reached out slowly, giving me time to pull away. When I didn't, he took my hand. Then believe this. I would never hurt you. Not then. Not now. Not ever. If that car accident wasn't an accident, then someone else was responsible. And I will find out who. I promise you that. His hand was warm. For the first time since waking up, something felt true. But then I remembered the journal. The warning. Trust no one. I need more time, I said, pulling my hand away. I need to figure out what's real and what's not. Zeno nodded. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. That night, I decided to call the number in the card Lorenzo dropped. Maybe he could show me actual proof. Something concrete. But when I pulled out the journal, a note that was hidden at the back of the journal dropped. Don't trust Lorenzo. Call me and we will meet at the coffee shop on Beacon Street. This is about your mother. My mother? Zeno told me she died when I was young. What could she possibly have to do with any of this? I fell asleep with more questions than answers. The note clutched in my hand. The coffee shop on Beacon Street was busy when I arrived at noon. I spotted a woman in the corner booth immediately. She was watching the door like she'd been waiting for hours. She stood when she saw me. Fiorella, thank God you came. Who are you? How do you know about my mother? My name is Elena. I was your mother's best friend. Sit down, please. We don't have much time. I slid into the booth across from her. Elena was maybe 45, with dark hair streaked with gray and worried eyes. Your mother didn't die when you were young, Elena said quietly. She's alive. She's been in hiding for 20 years. My world tilted. That's impossible, Zeno said. Zeno doesn't know the truth. Nobody does except me and a few others. Your mother left to protect you. She discovered something about the Marcello family. Something that would have gotten both of you killed if she'd stayed. What did she discover? Elena leaned forward. The Marcellos aren't just a crime family. They're part of something much bigger. An organization that's been operating for generations. Your mother stumbled onto evidence of money laundering, human trafficking, political corruption at the highest levels. She tried to go to the authorities, but the organization has people everywhere. Police, judges, politicians. She realized the only way to keep you safe was to disappear and let everyone think she was dead. Why didn't she take me with her? Because a woman on the run with a child is easier to track. She left you with your father, made him promise never to tell you the truth. She's been watching over you from a distance ever since. I felt tears burning my eyes. If she's alive, why hasn't she contacted me? She tried to. 6 months ago, when she heard you were planning to leave Zeno. She's the one who helped you set up the fake passport and plane ticket. She was going to meet you the day after your accident. Lorenzo said the same thing. Elena's expression darkened. Lorenzo Vitali works for the organization. He approached you as part of a setup. They wanted to see if you'd discovered what your mother found. When you started asking questions, they decided you were too dangerous to leave alive. You're saying Lorenzo tried to kill me? I'm saying someone in the organization did. Whether it was Lorenzo personally or someone he hired, I don't know. But after your accident, your mother went underground even deeper. She's terrified they'll try again. I couldn't process this. My mother was alive. Lorenzo was dangerous. Zeno might actually be innocent of the things I'd suspected him of. I want to see her, I said. My mother. I need to see her. Elena nodded. She wants to see you too. But it has to be done carefully. The organization is still watching you. They're waiting to see if your memory comes back. If you remember what you discovered. But I don't remember anything. I know. That might be the only thing keeping you alive right now. They think you're harmless without your memories. We need to keep it that way. What did I discover? What was so important that someone tried to kill me? Elena pulled out a small USB drive. Everything is on here. Bank records, communications, names of people in the organization. Your mother spent 20 years gathering this evidence. You found her hiding spot 6 months ago. She'd left clues for you in case something happened to her. When you saw what was on here, you knew you had to get away from Zeno before you put him in danger too. Said you deserved to know if your husband had a crazy brother who might be dangerous. We fought about it. That was 3 weeks before your accident. I sat down next to him. What else haven't you told me? A lot of things, but only because I'm trying to protect you. My world is dangerous, Fiorella. The less you know about certain things, the safer you are. Maybe I don't want to be safe. Maybe I want the truth. Zeno looked at me for a long moment. Okay, you want the truth? Here it is. Before your accident, you told me you'd found evidence that someone in my organization was betraying me. Working with the feds to build a case. You said you were getting close to figuring out who it was. 2 days later, you had your accident. I think whoever the traitor is tried to kill you to stop you from exposing them. Do you know who it is? I have suspicions, but no proof. Who do you suspect? He hesitated. Serafina, your aunt. She's been asking a lot of questions about my business lately, showing up at odd times. She claims she's worried about you, but I think she's gathering information. You think my aunt is working with the feds? I think she's working with someone. Whether it's the feds or Lorenzo or someone else entirely, I don't know. But I don't trust her. I thought about Serafina's visit. How she'd shown up right after I started asking questions. How she'd been so eager to paint Zeno as the villain. What should I do? I asked. Stay away from her. Stay away from Lorenzo and Elena and anyone else who approaches you with stories about your past. The only people you can trust are the ones who were with you before all this started. Like you. Like me. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him so badly. But trust no one kept echoing in my head. My own words from the journal. I'm tired, I said. I need to sleep. Zeno nodded and stood. I'll be in my room if you need anything. After he left, I pulled out the USB drive again. I needed to know the truth. The real truth, not anyone's version of it. I spent the next 3 hours going through files, cross-referencing dates, checking sources, and slowly a picture emerged. Everyone had been lying, but they'd all been telling partial truths too. Elena was real, but she didn't work for my mother. She worked for a federal task force investigating organized crime. Lorenzo was Zeno's half-brother, but he wasn't trying to hurt him. They were working together, just not in the way the video suggested. My mother was alive, but she wasn't in hiding. She was in witness protection because she'd already testified against the organization 20 years ago. And Zeno? Zeno was exactly who he said he was. A man who loved me, who'd been trying to protect me, but who was also deeply involved in criminal activities that I'd been investigating. The truth was I had been planning to leave. Not to protect Zeno, and not because I was scared, but because I'd finally gathered enough evidence to bring down his entire organization. And I'd been planning to take it to the authorities. Someone had found out. Someone had tried to stop me, and that someone was still out there waiting for me to remember. I looked at the USB drive in my hand. I had a choice to make. I could finish what I'd started. Take the evidence to Elena's federal contacts. Put Zeno in prison and destroy everything he'd built. Or I could delete it all. Forget what I knew. Try to make this strange, complicated marriage work. Trust no one, my journal said. But maybe that was wrong. Maybe the real answer was to trust myself. I thought about Zeno, the way he looked at me, the way he touched me so carefully, like I might break, the way he cooked my favorite meals even though I couldn't remember they were my favorites. I thought about my father making deals he shouldn't have made, my mother running away instead of fighting, Lorenzo, Elena, Serafina, everyone with their own agendas. And I thought about myself, the woman I'd been before the accident, strong enough to investigate a crime family, brave enough to plan an escape, smart enough to hide evidence where no one would think to look. What would she want me to do? I looked at the USB drive one more time. Then I made my choice. Fiorella is holding the future of the Marcello empire in her hand. One click could save her marriage or destroy it forever. Type Team Zeno or Team Truth in the comments right now. I'm reading every single theory in the comments. Also, I'm curious. How far has the story traveled today? Let me know which city or country you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the fallout. See you in the next tale.